Okay, well, can you, or will you flesh out for us some of the positions on the East Jerusalem issue as one place to start?
Sure. Look, Jerusalem is perhaps the most contentious of all the issues, not just because of the geography, but because of the religious attachment that both communities, in fact, all three major religions have to the holy sites within the Old City. I reminded my students before taking them to Jerusalem a few years ago that the Old City of Jerusalem is 1 square kilometer. It is a very small piece of geography, and yet the holy sites of the three religions really pervade that place. For years, people have thought that because of this overlay of geography and politics and religion, it would be impossible to find any kind of middle ground or common ground. And yet over the last decade, we've now seen two directions in which a possible outcome could take us. Outside the walls of the Old City, the two sides seem to agree on a principle based on demography. In other words, areas where Jews live would become part of the state of Israel. Area where Palestinians live would become part of the state of Palestine. The line's going to be very squiggly. It's not going to be a straight line, and it's going to be a little bit challenging to draw it on a map with a thick pencil. But it's a doable proposition. Inside the Old City, there's at least two possibilities. One was put forward by Prime Minister Olmert in 2008, which is essentially to agree on a joint management structure. In other words, keep in place the arrangements that are currently in place for each community to run its own religious affairs and develop jointness with respect to municipal services under an umbrella of an international board. And there's another proposal that's been worked on by some Canadian researchers, which essentially takes the issue out of the hands of the Israelis and Palestinians, who by agreement would bring in an international body as an administrator. In other words, deferring the issue of sovereignty, on which it is unlikely that there's going to be an early agreement. Neither side has to give up its sovereign claim, but both sides agree that it will be administered fairly and equitably over a period of time in which they're learning to live together. So you end up with a solution in which part of the ultimate sovereignty question gets deferred, but you allow for the two communities to interact in a way that they've not interacted until now.